Welcome to Millennial Milkshake, the podcast where three hot legs revisit, re-experience, and review anything and everything from our childhood. My name's Colin O'Connell, and I was born in 1994.
My name's Josh Sicali. I was born in 1995.
And my name is Michelle Potter. I was born in 1997.
And, oh, guys, my eye's kind of like, oh, someone put some dirt in my eye.
No. Man, that's trash.
All right, guys, dig on this. We are reviewing Spider-Man 3 this episode, the third Spider-Man movie in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. Came out, 2007, right? So who knows? Maybe I'll make another one after a certain Spider-Man movie came out. You never know about Hollywood and reboots and sequels and all that stuff. But for now, it's the last one of the trilogy, and I know we all have a lot to say about it. Our personal histories about it. Let's just dig right in because I know one of us has so much to say about this movie. But let's start off with Michelle. Michelle, what is your personal history with Spider-Man 3 starring Tobey Maguire?
So when I was a kid, I loved the Spider-Man movies. I loved them all. But the third one especially I thought was super cool because of how dark it was. Like the black Spider-Man suit and like Venom was scary, and I loved that. And I thought it was just like a super sick film, and I like really liked it when I was like 10 years old when I saw it. But yeah, that's like the extent of my history with Spider-Man 3. I really liked it. I watched it a bunch as a kid, and I thought it was a super cool movie. Yeah. Super cool.
Super cool movie. All right, I'll go next because Josh is, I think Josh will have some things to say about it. So I didn't see this movie in the theaters like I did Spider-Man 2. I actually saw it on vacation. My little cousin loved it. He loved Spider-Man, and he really liked this movie. And so we watched it. I remember sitting in the living room at the vacation house watching this movie for the first time. And it came out 2007, right? So I was about 13, and I remember I was probably like, superhero movies aren't cool anymore. Like, I'm older, superhero movies aren't cool. And then the next year, like, the two biggest superhero movies came out, Iron Man and The Dark Knight. And it's like, oh, they're actually, like, they changed pop culture forever, those two movies. So, yeah, I don't remember if I really liked it or not. I probably didn't at the time, thinking about it, though. So, yeah, Josh, you got something to say?
Yeah, so definitely not as much to say early on as I do the first and second. For some reason, I just don't remember when I first saw this film. I have such vivid memories of 1 and 2, and I have more memories with my younger brother with this one because this was his favorite one, which I think was extremely popular for the younger age. Especially, I mean, he was like 5 when it came out, so it was, super badass for little kids, black suit Spider-Man, Venom, like Michelle said, super cool. But I was like 12, so I probably did like it still. Until I got older, I started to see a little bit more truth about it. But yeah, I still did not like it as much as the first two. I remember that much. But I'm struggling to remember how I really felt about it. Kind of like Colin is, but we'll definitely have more stuff to say currently. So yeah, not as much history on as I do with 1 and 2, but we'll talk more about it when I started watching it a lot more when I was an older teenager, when I started finding it funny, which was, I mean, would you guys say this is one of the biggest movies in meme culture?
Definitely now, yeah. It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
I mean, Bully Maguire's like a whole thing.
So, yeah, there's a lot of good that came out of this film, though. So, including that. So, yeah, that's all I really have for personal history, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess we'll get into it. I do want to say, though, like, there are definitely moments in this movie that I feel like are, like, unintentionally funny, right? And then there's definitely parts in this movie where they're, like, really solid jokes. Like, they're actually funny. And so that's kind of what's weird about this movie is I guess it's before the whole like MCU thing where they like blended like humor and everything like kind of effortlessly into the script. It's just like this movie, there's like really funny bits in it that are supposed to be funny. And then it's like, but this is the dark one.
Yeah.
You know?
So does anything come to mind when like specific jokes or bits? I mean, I still find J. Jonah Jameson like still really funny in this.
Yeah, so like the first time we see Jonah when he's at the desk and Betty keeps buzzing the desk, like that's clearly meant to be humorous. Like that's clearly a joke. It's clearly a setup. When he's pointing at the pills and everything, he's going to grab. She's like, "Not that one, not that one." And then he picks it up and then she rings it one more time. The pills go everywhere. Right?
Yep.
Like that's clearly supposed to be a joke, and it works. And then I'm also thinking of Bruce Campbell when he's the waiter. Right? That whole bit's just a comedy bit. Like when he like blows the whistle and then someone brings a pen on a tray out to him and he takes it. Like that's hilarious. That's the only instance of him. He uses that whistle just for that specific part where he needs to grab a pen, and they bring it out on a silver tray to him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but it's funny.
Do any others come to mind from other characters that throughout this movie I feel like there's a lot of marks that are missed? In terms of comedy, I think the main source of comedy from this movie is unintentional, where you almost wonder if they were intentionally trying to make certain parts so bad that it was funny, but I don't think they were.
It's hard to say, because like when Peter's sitting down at Mary Jane's play and he just blurts out, "That's my girlfriend." It's like, is that a joke or is that not a joke?
Yes.
Because he doesn't turn, part of it is a joke because he gets sat between like two like bigger guys. So that part's a joke, right? It's like he's this little guy, he's squeezed between these two big guys. But then because of the way that Peter Parker is in these movies, he's like earnest to a fault and goofy to a fault. Then when he just blurts out, "It's my girlfriend," he doesn't turn to anyone and say it to anyone specifically. He just says it. And then the guy looks at him like, weird.
Yeah, I don't.
So is that a joke or not?
I don't think it's supposed to be. I
didn't think it was a joke.
It's really funny. It's definitely funny.
It's very funny.
But there's a lot of parts with Peter in this where it's really different from him in the first two. He acts like an idiot in a lot of this.
I mean, you did say he acted like an idiot last.
You're right, but it's so much
because he is an idiot.
But it's like so much more now. Like comments like that, or even his opening monologue to this movie, which I know we'll go more into it later on in the episode. But there's just so many parts that I crack up at that I'm just like confused at.
That's me, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
and then it's so different from the second one where he's like, "That's her, the girl of my dreams," and it's like sad. It's like depressing.
Yeah.
And this one's like, everything's great, everything's happy-go-lucky, which I guess is like his character transformation is like part of that. But
there's like parts like when they're at the parade, the ceremony,
and they love me.
Yeah, like that, or when he's like in the crowd, just like just looking around, so happy, and then he's like marching to the marching band, like. I'm just like, what is that? What is? I don't know.
I mean, there's so many moments we could pick out, but
yeah,
those were the only two moments that I thought like maybe, or like those definitely felt like, okay, these are meant to be funny. You know, because again, it's like, you know, J.K. Simmons is, you know, as J. Jonah Jameson is kind of like, you know, funny. He's quick-witted. He's, you know, snappy and everything. And then Bruce Campbell is just like one of the funniest people. You know, he's just, you know, everything he's in.
Yeah.
And he's doing the worst French accent. I am French.
So, I mean, yeah, we'll have a lot more to say in a little bit. But if you guys don't have anything else, I think we might move on over to a game that is beginning to be a favorite from our very own Colin.
I'm excited.
I know how much he loves it.
Yeah, it's great. It's my favorite segment.
So I'm just going to introduce a little new rule to this game. So welcome to Cinema Pursuit. New rule for the game with scoring. No one will know if they got the answer correct or not until the end. That way, this game will be played, all 10 questions, and it'll be a nice surprise for everybody when I go down the list. And then I'll let you know if it requires a bonus round.
And to our listeners, I just want you guys to know that this will make no difference on the outcome from the previous weeks. We all know what's going on here. We all know what's going to happen.
So, the first order of business. Who wants what? Odds or evens? Whoever
I want
speaks
evens.
first. Colin wants evens, which I think did you have odds last week?
I think so.
Okay. So, Michelle first. The girl who sells her camera to J. Jonah Jameson is whose daughter? A. Sam Raimi. B. Kevin Feige. Is that how you say his last name? I always forget.
I think it's Feige, yeah.
Yeah, cool. C. Thomas Hayden Church, who is Sandman. Or D. Ted Raimi.
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to go with D. Ted Raimi.
I'll go with E. Ted Lasso. I'll go with A. Sam Raimi.
And next question. All of the screams from Kirsten Dunst were recycled from Spider-Man 2002, the first Spider-Man. True or false?
False.
Also going false.
My logic behind it is they also threw in screams from Spider-Man 2. Just to explain my logic, because I know they recycled the screams. That's something I'm pretty sure I'm confident I know, but I think they put in screams from 2 as well.
Alrighty. Question number 3. Michelle. How long did it take to create the visual effects required to portray Sandman's powers? A. 8 months. B. 17 months. C. 25 months. D. 36 months.
Sorry, what was B?
17 months.
Okay, I'm going to go with B, 17 months.
I'll go C. It can't be 32 months, right? That's 3
That
years.
seems
That's like almost
extensive.
like
36.
36. Yeah, that's
3 years.
that seems like too much. Because didn't this movie come out 3 years after the second one? I don't think that timeline adds up. I'm gonna be so mad if it's 36 months.
I wish I could tell you guys, but I guess we have to just
Okay.
move on to question 4.
Because it won't make sense if it's 36 months is my problem. Like, the timeline doesn't add up.
Question 4, Colin.
Okay.
How long did Thomas Hayden Church work out for his role, which is Sandman? A. 16 months. B. 10 months. C. 7 months. D. All established muscle.
I don't know what he looks like in reality. He is pretty jacked. I'll go D. All established muscle. I believe in him.
Ooh, I was thinking maybe D, but I think I'm going to go 7 months. Just maybe.
Well, he's not that built. Like, he's not like crazy jacked. I don't think he worked out for what did you say? 700 months? What was the first one?
16 months.
Yeah, I don't think he worked out for 16 months.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I believe in him. He was jacked beforehand, I think.
This is Michelle. Spider-Man 3 was the highest grossing superhero film of all time until a year later when Iron Man beat it. True or false?
False.
I'm also going false because Dark Knight grossed more than Iron Man. And Iron Man didn't even gross that much. I think Iron Man grossed something like 300 million. This movie was pretty high up there. And I know the Dark Knight crossed $1 billion, so I feel good about that one. How do you feel about that one, Michelle?
I feel good about that one also.
I feel like we're almost on the same team now, until
Yeah.
Josh reads the scores and then I hate you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair.
yeah. I like this. I like this new style.
I think
All right.
our listeners will like hearing me whine and complain instead.
Question 6. How many installments were planned after Spider-Man 3? A, 4, B, 5, C, 6, D, 7.
Like extra
So-
or like just total movies?
Total.
Oh, okay.
A.
Was C 6?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go 6.
That's a good question. That's a good guess. Because why would they make 2 more? And why would they make 4 more? You know? It seems like they would either make 1 more. Well, I know they were going to make at least 1 more. But then if they wouldn't make just 2 more, they would make 3 more. Or 1 more.
One could only guess at this stage. Michelle,
Yes.
question 7.
Okay.
Who else was considered for the role of Gwen Stacy? A, Jessica Chastain. B, Rachel McAdams. C, Natalie Portman. D, Scarlett Johansson.
B, Rachel McAdams.
Okay, this is tough. Because did Josh just throw Jessica Chastain in there because her and Bryce Dallas Howard kind of look alike?
Look-alike, yeah.
Or were they specifically casting for a certain type and they both auditioned for it?
One could only guess at this stage.
I hate that.
Well, I don't know. I think that Bryce Dallas Howard and Rachel McAdams have the same sort of like cutesy look about them. I don't know.
Really?
Oh, I always confused her and Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, that's the big one. I don't know why. I'm feeling Natalie Portman. And I don't know why. I'm not okay. Phrasing. I'm not feeling Natalie Portman. I'm feeling Natalie Portman as an answer. I'll go Natalie Portman.
All right.
I don't like that answer. I either hate it or I love it.
Colin,
Yes.
how many theaters did Spider-Man 3 open in? A, 3,683. B, 4,252. C, 2,987. D, 4,761.
Suck for putting 2 4,000s in there. I don't know what's high and what's low. What was B
4,252.
and what was D
4,761.
and what was A
3,683.
and what was C?
2,987.
I just did that so you had to read them again. I'll go D.
D, 4,761.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go B, the other 4 number.
4,252. All right. Michelle, question 9. Toby earned how much for Spider-Man 3?
I
A,
remembered last week.
15 million. B, 18.5 million. C, 21 million. D, 24.5 million.
I'm gonna guess C, 21 million.
Interesting, Michelle. I'm also guessing C because when you don't know the answer, you guess C.
That's correct.
C for correct. Michelle, we should have gamed this out ahead of time just to screw Josh. We should have just answered all of them the same.
All right, Colin. Question 10. Spider-Man 3 was delivered in UK cinemas under what code name? A, Enemy in the Reflection.
Ooh.
B, Mirror the Darkness.
Ooh.
C, Back for More.
Ah.
D, Black Shadow. E, none of the above.
Oh, fuck off. Oh my, fuck. You're messing with my mind. I'll go B, the mirror one.
Mirror the Darkness.
Yeah.
I'll go D, the Black Shadow.
Alrighty. Now, Question 1. The girl who sells her camera to Jonah is whose daughter? The answer was Sam Raimi.
Ooh.
Point for Colin. Question 2. All the screams from Kirsten Dunst were recycled from Spider-Man 1. The answer was false. Both Colin and Michelle got it. The correct answer would have been Spider-Man 2. All of the screams were recycled from Spider-Man 2.
Wow, that's tricky.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
None of them are.
No, because she didn't want to play the damsel in distress. She was really pissed about it. She probably didn't want to scream either.
Oh, that's true? That's actually true.
Yeah, she was really she came back for the third one and she was like, I don't want to play the damsel in distress again. And they were like, no, you don't have to. And then they were like, surprise.
Wow.
No, there was a whole other ending. Like, because
she still was screaming.
Originally, Gwen Stacy was going to be the damsel in distress at the end that Spider-Man has to save because Eddie was going to think that he was with Gwen Stacy because he sees him with her in the movie. And then Mary Jane was going to go to Harry, and she was going to be the one that convinces Harry to go save Peter, to go help Peter because she was going to give a speech about like friendship. Yeah.
Oh.
She was actually going to have something to do, but instead they were like, nah, get in the fucking taxi. I think that's what Sam Raimi said.
Question 3. And this was a weird question.
Are you keeping score?
I am. I got it right here on paper. Oh, yeah, you're good.
My fingers hurt.
How long did it take to create the visual effects required to portray Sandman's powers? And it's very weirdly worded, but that's how it was worded when I looked up the fact.
Michelle, it's going to be 36 months.
It's got to be.
The correct answer is 36 months,
fucking
3
crazy.
years.
That doesn't make sense. How is that possible? Did they know that they were going to do Sandman like before they even started production on the movie?
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember the other facts I read that this was like planned out, I think even before Spider-Man 2 came out. So I think they knew that they were going to work with Sandman. So they were like doing all this like research and stuff like that of like, so it took like 3 years, I guess, to, orchestrate that, which is crazy. That's a long time to spend on visual effects.
It was 2000. Well, what? It was 2004 at that point.
Yeah.
Like that's, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Question 4 was, how long did Thomas Hayden Church work out for his role?
I really hope it's D. Just not even for my own score, but for that dude.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
The correct answer was A, 16 months.
Oh my God. He's not even that jacked. He's pretty jacked.
I know. I didn't think 16 months jacked.
Yeah, 16 months is like Chris Hemsworth jacked. Like Jason Momoa jacked.
Yeah, that's crazy. So Colin had faith that it was all established muscle,
Damn.
and Michelle thought 7 months.
Mm-hmm. I thought he was like, I didn't think he'd do the huge jacked man approach. Get it? It's a pun. It's a play on words. Hugh Jackman got in really good shape to play Wolverine, and he became a huge jacked man.
That's good.
Yeah, thanks. Mm-hmm. I created it all on my own. It wasn't on the internet beforehand.
That's nice, Colin. I've never heard that a day in my life.
That's a good new fresh joke.
Hey, you like that one? I got one about a donkey and a pineapple.
So yeah, this question I figured you guys would probably know. I was hoping maybe not, but Spider-Man 3 highest grossing superhero film until Iron Man beat it. The correct answer was false. Point for both of them. It was The Dark Knight. I was hoping. I mean,
The Dark Knight made like $1 billion.
Yeah. Spider-Man 3 grossed close to 900 million. Iron Man was close to 600 million.
So I was really low on Iron Man. I remember when The Dark Knight was making like all of that money at the box office, people were like, is it gonna break Titanic? Is it gonna break the Titanic record?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's gonna break Titanic's record. And it's like, and then it didn't, and people were like, a movie will never break the Titanic record. And I think Avatar came out the year after.
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah. What a movie.
Okay.
What a movie that I don't remember anything about.
Same.
So question 6 was, how many installments were planned after Spider-Man 3? Correct answer was 6.
Damn.
Which was, I didn't know. Like, I thought it was just 4.
So are we tied?
Until I
I
saw
think
that.
we're 3-3 now, right?
Yep, it is now 3-3.
Fuck, I'm gonna choke it away.
Ooh.
Michelle, can you give me the Heimlich? Because I'm choking
I
this
know the
one
Heimlich.
away.
Certified.
Who
All right,
else
stop showing off.
was
I went to Girl Scouts.
Question 7.
God, Parker,
Who
you're
else was
such a Boy
considered
Scout.
for the role of Gwen Stacy? Michelle said Rachel McAdams, and Colin said Natalie Portman. The correct answer was Scarlett Johansson.
Damn.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
no points for that.
Scarlett Johansson was going to be my second guess, but I for whatever reason I felt Natalie Portman. I felt like they would be like, "Oh, Natalie, come be like in a big franchise again," and she'd be like, "After I did Star Wars, I don't want to do it anymore." You know?
Yeah, I thought Natalie Portman was a nice one to throw in there.
We didn't fall for the Jessica Chastain bullshit though, so
No.
gotta get up pretty early in the morning to fool us.
How many theaters did Spider-Man 3 open in? Michelle said 42.52, and Colin said 47.61. The correct answer was 42.52.
Ooh. All
It is now
right.
4-3 Michelle.
I hate this segment.
Okay. And question 9. Toby earned how much for Spider-Man 3? Spider-Man 2, he earned $17.5 million. Colin and Michelle both said $21 million.
Fuck. It doesn't
The
matter.
correct answer is $15 million.
Whoa.
They paid him
Yep.
less.
It was less, but
Did he get box office
yes,
residuals?
he got
Yeah.
7.5%, which is a lot because this grossed 900 million. So does he
Yeah.
get? Is that like? Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a lot.
And question 10.
So I need to get this question right in order
Colin
to
needs.
force a bonus question.
Colin needs this.
And we didn't answer the same for this one, right?
Nope, this one's different.
Cool.
Spider-Man 3 was delivered in UK cinemas under what code name?
Bum, bum, bum,
Colin says
bum,
Mirror the Darkness,
bum,
and
bum,
Michelle
bum,
says Black Shadow.
bum,
The
bum,
correct
bum,
answer was
bum, bum,
Back for More.
bum. Well, that's
Ooh.
deflating because neither of us got the last question right.
Yep.
It's a little anticlimactic, but once
Yep.
again, my curse continues.
So Michelle is the winner again of Spider-Man 3 Cinema Pursuit.
Wow. Thank
That one
you.
was that one was actually a fun question, thinking of like different titles. The Enemy in the Reflection was actually the Russian title. It was Spider-Man 3 Reflection, Enemy in the Reflection. Yeah, I honestly thought you guys would guess Back for More because it was definitely the most different out of any of them.
It was the
And it's
lamest
just-
one. You did a way better job.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to just play bonus? It won't count for anything.
No.
But no.
I'm
Wow.
thinking, I think it's like the longest like droughts in like sports history. I think it's like the Cubs went like 100. Went like 108 years. I think the Kings it's like 68 years. And then I think I'm next on the list.
Colin is next in line for
Yeah.
longest losing streak in Cinema Pursuit. Well, I'll just read the
Yeah,
question
I think
then.
it was
You guys
107 seasons for the Cubs, 68 for the Kings, and I'm next. I think I'm next on the list.
The jazz bar scene took how long to film? A, 1 day. B, 3 days. C, 1 week. D, 10 days. E, 2 weeks. F, 3 weeks.
That 10 days sounds pretty good.
Like the bare naked lady say, it's been 1 week.
So Colin says 1 week. Michelle says 10 days.
If it was
Is that-
done
is
in
that
a
what I-
day, that'll be incredible.
Yeah.
The correct answer is E, 2 weeks.
Whew.
Okay.
Why
So-
did it take so long?
They played 2 bare naked lady songs. Because it's been
I
2
don't know why it
weeks.
took so long. But
Because everyone
this
couldn't stop
concludes
laughing.
Cinema Pursuit.
Thanks, Teach.
Thanks, Josh.
Oh, sure. Thank you
I'm
guys
in a
for
better
playing.
mood this time.
That was a great game.
Did we like the
Good
new
game, good game, good game.
hold the points off for the end?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think.
guys.
I dig it. I dug
Till
it.
next time.
Till next time.
Now dig on this. So bad news, guys. There's no Apple Facts this week. Again.
Damn.
But instead, I don't know if you guys remember the last few weeks, I found this old, weird, like British, like radio show.
Mm-hmm.
I think, what's it called? It's called Masters of Acting, right? And they just bring other actors on to read scenes, and they've done it for, so many movies. They actually, believe it or not, have done one for Spider-Man 3 that I dug up.
It's incredible.
I know. So if you'll remember, these weren't like made like back to back to back. Like it was a long running show, I think. So it was like, they would bring in different actors to do it, and the host, I think, had some weird history with J.K. Simmons or something. But I found another one for Spider-Man 3, and I think, I think we just need to give it a listen just to kind of complete, the trilogy, so to speak.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So down. I love the
I'm
Masters
excited.
of Acting.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So, okay.
I am ready.
I'm also ready.
Hold on. I got some shit to say.
What? Oh my god.
Welcome to an impromptu review. That's right. I got you bitches. You thought you were going to get a third straight Masters of Acting where I was going to make an ass of myself doing poor celebrity impressions. Oh, sure. I could do what I was originally going to do. Have the scene in Spider-Man 3 where Peter's going through his changes and he's walking down the street, he's acting more assertive, and the original plan was maybe to do, I don't know, Kermit the Frog as Peter Parker, and then Miss Piggy as the female characters, and maybe Fozzie Bear was in there, and maybe for some reason, for no reason whatsoever, Adam Driver was J. Jonah Jameson. Maybe that was my original idea, but you can't prove it. So what's going to happen is, instead of doing a Masters of Acting episode, I'm going to review a little something called Crispix. That's right, Josh. Oh, I bet you fucking feel bad now making me take these stupid fucking Cinema Pursuit quizzes that I undoubtedly lost this week, by the way. Like, I'm calling my shot now. This is pre-recorded. I lost. There's no way I didn't lose. Congratulations, Michelle. My bone is, of course, not to pick with Michelle. It is to pick with Josh, who, if you remember, a few weeks ago in our cereal draft, picked Crispix under the plain cereal section. Now, I had Cheerios, Michelle had Rice Krispies, so, there were some pretty big ones taken off the board, but you still had Corn Flakes, you still had Life, you still had
He's
Chex,
right.
And you instead went with a cereal that neither Michelle nor I had ever even
He's got
heard
a
of.
point.
And I'm assuming most of our listeners haven't heard of it either. So here's the rub. I tried Crispix. Or at least, I think I tried Crispix. Because here's what happened. I go to the store. I go to the cereal section. I'm looking for Crispix. I'm looking near the Chexes. Because that's what Josh said. That's what Crispix is like. It's like Chex. I'm looking up and down this aisle. There's no goddamn Crispix nowhere. So I'm like, this is a bullshit fake cereal. It doesn't exist. Fast forward a couple weeks. I'm at a different store, a different supermarket. There's no goddamn Crispix in this cereal aisle until I walk all the way down to the very end. And what do I see? The biggest goddamn box of Crispix that you ever have seen. It's
lovely.
Massive. I think they only make it in family
As they
size
should.
because, I guess if you're going to make something that nobody buys, you might as well make a bunch of it and try to sell as many big boxes as you can. So I buy this cereal and I bring it home and I pour it in a bowl and I put milk in it. Sorry, Michelle, I put milk in my goddamn cereal because I'm not a
Gross.
fucking maniac. And I take
Whatever.
a spoonful and I munch it. And I say to myself, God damn it, this is actually pretty good. And I ate the whole fucking box in a couple of days. So I'm jonesing for the Crispix again a week later. And so I go to the store and I buy a box of Crispix again. Whoop-de-woo. Right? I eat the box really quick. So fast forward another couple of weeks, I go back to the store and I'm like, damn, I really want some Crispix again. And guess what?
Oh no.
There are no more Crispix.
Oh, no.
There's no more Crispix at that store. It's gone. I've been on a hunt for it ever since. Nothing. There's no Crispix
Feed the
anywhere.
frenzy.
It doesn't exist. It's gone. I think this is a conspiracy. I think Josh created a fake cereal, snuck 2 boxes of it into a supermarket, thought no one's going to buy this crap because it looks fake. And he did it just so I would
He's
buy
on
it.
to me.
Yeah, if you guys don't know this, Josh is well hooked into the supermarket clique. All right? So this is the skinny of it all. It gets nothing from me because I think I've been bamboozled. I think I've been lied to, possibly drugged. And just all in all, I feel deceived. So Josh, you get a 0 out of 94 from the Crispix. For me, even though it was absolutely delicious. You get a 0 out of 94, and you know why? You want to know the real reason
Lay it on
why?
me.
It's because I've lost Cinema Pursuit 3 fucking times in a row. I fucking hate this goddamn segment, and you could have had Kermit the fucking Frog being Spider-Man, but
man.
guess what? Instead, you get a fucking Crispix review. I hope you're happy
Sorry,
with yourself.
everybody.
Wow. Wow.
I should have just written Apple Facts.
Insert applause.
Sorry, I just had some shit to say.
Woo!
What a jam.
That was great.
That was great.
That was a curveball if I've ever seen one.
I know. As soon as that record scratch happened, I was thrown, and I was
confused. I didn't know what I was like. Okay, new style of Masters of Acting, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I heard the voice. I was like, oh, maybe a different host for this episode. Oh man. So yeah.
I'm shaking.
Super weird guys that he was only able to find it twice and was not third time's the charm was not.
I can't find it anywhere.
Now I'm
find
going
it
to try to
anywhere.
find Crispix in stores because I've never had it, and you did make it sound really appealing.
I have to be honest. I was very much trying to win Cinema Pursuit this week, and I knew I wasn't going to.
That was, I mean, you were very
was
close.
close.
It was 3-2 Colin at one
I
point.
lost.
And
I still
then
lost.
Michelle tied it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I recorded that a week in advance.
Oh man, I bet Colin is secretly happy that he did lose because it made that recording pretty.
I don't know
Pretty
if the
special.
bit is funnier if I would have won or the fact that I lost. I think it worked both ways. That's why I was confident recording it.
Yeah, one could only imagine.
I'm shaking.
What's got you shaking?
Is
Is it the Crispix withdrawal?
I can't.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't believe that worked. That I fooled you.
Wait, what?
I can't believe that I fooled you.
Oh, you didn't like Crispix?
No, I can't believe that you guys didn't see some fuckery happening after
We
all of
didn't
the
see it
times
coming.
I've messed with both of you on this show.
Yeah, no, I did not.
I
Constantly.
did not.
I was full on prepared.
Every time I try to bring a surprise, I get the shakes. Yeah, so impromptu review is a segment that might pop up sporadically every now and then. Don't know.
All right,
Don't
like
know,
that.
but that's our first ever impromptu review segment, and it will never have anything to do with the episode we're recording, by the way.
Well, that was great. So thank you.
Yeah, that was delightful. I'm glad. Crispix was a hit in your tummy.
0 out of 94.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. It's fake. You drugged me.
The moral of the story is that Josh knows how to create delicious cereal.
Yeah, we all know we all know your supermarket connections. So yeah, do we want to get into the actual meat of it all? The
Yes.
actual movie that we're reviewing, Spider-Man 3, starring Tobis Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, Joms Frankes.
Jake Simmons.
Jakey Sims.
Oh.
Tom's greatest systems. And Eric Foreman. So let's just get it out in the open. Topher Grace. I mean, before we even get into the movie, let's talk about Topher. Let's carve out a segment to talk about Topher Grace, because I feel like it's kind of the elephant in the room with this movie, and how awful, horribly miscast he is as Venom.
Yeah, super odd. You would never, in a million years, pick Eric.
Yeah.
To be, I mean, such a dark villain for Spider-Man. It doesn't compute. Colin was saying, he works a lot better as Eddie Brock, because
it's not even Eddie Brock. I think if you just created a new character, and it's just like, this is Topher Grace's like character, and he's just like a rival photographer because he's smarmy, he's cocky, he's douchey. Like, yeah, Eric Foreman is like that, and like Topher Grace plays that role well. But when you make him Venom, and the big fangs, the fucking teeth, his teeth.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be big and intimidating, and it's like, this is Foreman. Like, he's not intimidating. Like,
so. Yeah, I mean, because what I've heard is that Eddie Brock is still not like that at all. It's completely different, but that kind of character works for Topher Grace, but not anything else.
And I also think it works in the context of the movie, because but it just I don't know what anyone was thinking with that casting.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, because I remember reading Sam Raimi liked Topher Grace, I guess, when he auditioned, if I remember correctly.
And I understand that if he was reading lines for the way that they had written Eddie that way, because he does. Yeah. I think he nails it as an asshole.
Actually, you know what? I think he probably did sign him on, because Venom was a very last minute
So
decision.
do you think they just changed his character to be Eddie Brock? Or do you think it was Eddie from the beginning? And they were because they've done this before. Because they've done this before in the movie. Because like Gwen Stacy in this movie is nothing like any like iteration of Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Right. And also this MJ is very different from MJ. I almost feel like Kirsten Dunst would have made a better Gwen Stacy character, because she's kind of nerdy and goofy. She's a little bit of a goofball, and Bryce Dallas Howard is kind of more like the MJ type, if that makes sense.
What's funny is that they have the correct hair colors in real life, but they both changed it to.
They both changed their hair.
So yeah, that's an interesting point. I wonder if when Topher Grace tried out, if it was still known as like Eddie Brock, or if it was, like you said, a different. But I probably not. I don't know. That seems weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
because I feel like I would have definitely seen that. Like he had a different name, but then they were like, "No, change to Eddie Brock. We want Venom in there."
Because Flash Thompson also becomes Venom in the books at a certain point. I think he becomes like Captain Venom. So it's like, but they didn't do that right in the first movie. So it's not like this is like the first time they didn't like stay true. Like you didn't have to stay true to the comics.
Yeah.
So if you're just making Eddie Brock, if you're just using that character's name in like the original idea for the movie, it makes sense. But when you make him Venom, I mean, I can't get over him crawling on the thing, talking in Eric Foreman's voice when he's talking to Sandman.
Yep.
I haven't seen this movie in a very long time before rewatching it, and it was so strange to see terrifying Venom and then hear Topher Grace's voice coming out of him.
It's so goofy. It's like beyond words.
Just change the voice.
Mm-hmm.
And he's clearly like doing a different voice, but it's just it's still his sound.
And stop taking his face off of it. Like stop taking his face off. Just keep the face on the whole time.
Why do they do that?
Yeah,
so the actor gets more screen time.
He got enough. Give Venom a little bit more. I mean, it's not. He came in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah. So that's kind of, I think, the Venom. The Venom talk.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we want to go scene like kind of like how we normally do it, or do we want to kind of save time in this episode and just kind of like give like a generalistic kind of vibe?
Yeah,
Because I mean, I have, okay, this might shock you guys. I really thought this, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, okay, I know this movie's bad, but I'm watching it, and for most of the beginning, I don't think it's that bad.
yeah.
I think it's fine. I think it's pretty good. In fact, in my head, a little spoiler for the end of the episode, I'm like, so far through, I know this movie's going to get worse, but so far through this point in the movie, I'm in high 60s range. There's goofiness to it. There's bad stuff happening in the movie, but it's still competent. I like what they're setting up. And then the moment where he takes his hair and he goes down, every subsequent scene for almost the rest of the movie is worse than the scene prior. And it just
that's
gets
like a
worse
good...
and worse and worse.
I mean, Colin, that's over halfway through. Is it not?
Is it? It's close.
I mean, that's still half the movie. That like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was surprised. I was actually not even for like the memes. I was legitimately like kind of enjoying this movie for a lot of it. And then it's literally the instant he puts his hair down, every scene afterwards for like almost the rest of the movie is worse than the scene before. It's baffling.
I think, reading about this movie, you kind of get very similar thoughts, and it's kind of known that the first, I mean, I'm not going to say half, because I still think there's some good parts in this movie, but it's very few for me. But people were okay with this movie in the beginning because it wasn't, I don't know, like they weren't introducing as much as they do in the second half. I mean, they kind of do. I still think they do a lot of plot jumping in the first half still. It's still, I think, over. It's like they implode it with subplots that aren't necessary. But I mean, how they handle the characters, like Harry, I mean, I can't stand as Hobgoblin. I hate it.
You don't like the convenient amnesia?
Oh, I have.
Oh
I have.
my God.
I have it written down, but
I wrote that too. I was like, hold on a second. What? Like,
Yeah.
when he forgets everything.
He also gets hit in the head a bunch after that point, and he's fine.
yeah. So like, all right, Hobgoblin is a cool character. It's a good character. I just don't know. I don't understand the look. What are
Is
they?
he officially Hobgoblin, or is he just New Goblin?
Oh, I just assumed he was Hobgoblin.
I thought he was
think
Little
he's...
Goblin Jr.
What?
Gonna cry?
I mean, like, I think he's like listed if you look up things about the film as Hobgoblin. And don't they have?
I thought he was just another iteration of Green Goblin.
Well, it sucks. That sucks too. Like, what is that? I don't know what that is. And the thing that really pisses me off is that you're in that little lair in the mansion, and you see these cool goblin masks. Like, you see that chrome one. Like, that would have been cool. Why don't you do a chrome goblin? Anything but that stupid black suit with the half ninja mask.
Yeah, I think there was backlash to the Goblin mask, though, when the first movie came out.
So then do a goblin like more so like how the comics portrayed him. Like, do like a cool like an actual goblin.
Yeah.
Like, do something. Don't do this weird thing. Which, by the way, let's talk about Harry for a second. Harry's not smart, right? Like, he's not smart. How is he doing Norman Osborn work? He's developing this new technology. Look at all the stuff he's created. He's got these swords, these boards, this new outfit. I mean, he did all that himself. It's, that's not Norman's work, but he's able to do the same level.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think back to the second one. The board isn't like the snowboard, whatever you want to fucking call it. Isn't in the layer in the second one, right? It's just it's just the glider again.
Yeah,
because there is a glider in the second one.
Because they give you that shot at the end of the second one, that cool shot that sets him up to be Goblin, and you just see the glider, and you see the mask. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no other like weapons or anything like that. But then this one, they show you all this extra stuff that he clearly developed.
Yeah, because he's not. No one's helping him, right?
No, it's just him. You know, Bernard isn't helping him.
Yeah, Norman makes sense because he's something of a scientist himself. But
Yeah.
Harry is. Yeah, Harry's the dumb. Harry's not smart. He
couldn't
even
pass
says in the
science
first
class.
one. Yeah, he failed out of every private school. And he's suddenly developing this crazy technology. Is this okay? Here's a question, because the first two villains of this franchise are heavily technology based, right? Goblin, Doc Ock. The villains in this one, I mean, I guess Green Goblin is, but Sandman's kind of like, he's a reaction to a science experiment, but he didn't put that on himself. He's just a dude that fell in a pit, right?
Yeah.
And Venom is fucking an alien that falls, which, first of all, that's the worst way to handle Venom. It's just this black goo that falls and it happens to happen while Peter and MJ are there. I don't know. And it doesn't make sense because in the second movie, MJ's fiance is an astronaut. Why in the third one, why don't they, if they're going to force Venom into the movie, just be like, oh, he went up into space and then it attached itself to the thing and then it came back down. And
That'd be
that's
cool.
how.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be.
Not
And maybe he goes to see MJ afterwards because he's upset that they broke up and it attaches itself to MJ and then MJ's with Peter and then it's like, oh, I'm going to attach myself to Peter, you know? Like there could have been a more thoughtful way to do this. Instead, they're just in the middle of the park and it's just like, yoink, I'm on your bike now.
Yep. Colin,
It's
you should have helped write Spider-Man 3. That would have been much better.
Yeah.
I do have ideas on how to improve this movie. First of all, Venom shouldn't be in this movie.
Not at all.
That's obvious. But I think you can still do Black Suit Superman without doing Venom. I think you can set Venom up for a fourth movie in this movie, even with keeping a lot of the structure for up to that point. I think if you show the scene where Peter tears off the suit, right? Which is a good scene. I like that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I like that part of the scene. I don't like when it falls on Eddie. But
Yeah.
when he's tearing it off, if you just show him tearing it off and then it like falls down, you don't show where it goes, right? And then Spider-Man leaves. And then you do a post-credit scene where Eddie's in the church and then you show it again, but from Eddie's perspective. Or you do like an ending scene or something. But something to set up Venom for like the next movie, I think would have worked better than that.
Well, that's what he wanted to do, but, you know, Sony gets in the way and says, hey.
We got to do Venom because he's popular.
Yep. Yeah. So, you know, you got to feel for Sam Raimi on this. I mean, he knows it's bad, awful, he says. You know, and he's very disappointed in how it came out. And he says, you know, I had no faith in these characters. I had no desire to want to, like. But, see, I wonder if Venom wasn't in it, how would this have played out? Because I still don't like the iterations of, you know, how they handle Goblin. The Sandman's whole thing in this movie, I don't like. Like, maybe if they spent more time on it, it would have been better. I don't know, because they just give you, like, portions of these people, and that's all you get, and it just seems so packed with unnecessary shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many storylines are going on in this film?
There are things you can pluck out of this that you can see a competent movie being made. Like, I like the idea of Peter, because in the previous movie, he had all that self-doubt and whatever. In this one, if it's like, he thinks he's balanced it, but in the end, he's arrogant, he's cocky, which is what they play up in this movie, right? And that's why the symbiote, it enhances those personality features. That's a great idea, I think. I also feel like I like MJ more in this movie than the previous movies, because she feels justified in some of the shit that she's going through.
Which
we kind
of talked about this last episode, Colin and I, that she does get better in this one because you kind of sympathize with her a little bit more, and you justify like her
like when you're watching her in like the dinner scene. Like, if you're a kid, you could be like, well, why is she being mean to Peter? But it's like, if you're watching it as an adult, it's like, he just fucking kissed Gwen Stacy in front of everyone, so she has like every right to be really pissed at him and she's already having a terrible day, which
Yes.
influences it. And also, like, it's not justified that she's mad at him for like getting the applause when she leaves, but I don't think it has to be, because humans aren't always rational, right? So she can be irrational when she sees people applauding him because she just got fired. That is going to make her feel like shit, and it is going to make her lash out. And then it's compounded on Peter was a fucking asshole the day before, just the biggest douchebag the day before kissing Gwen Stacy. And then you get the scene on the bridge where her and Harry's put her up to breaking up with him. But when she's like telling him like these are the issues in the relationship, that feels like it comes from a place of truth for that character, you know? Like, she's doing it because she has to, but it feels like it's way more justified. Like, it's like you could believe if she really wanted to break up with him now, if she really wanted to end it with him, all of the points she makes sense. And then they make her the fucking damsel in distress at the end of the movie and ruin it.
Yeah.
So back to the dinner scene. Like, it's so cringy how, and I've used this before, he's so fucking clueless. He's an idiot. And
Yes.
so he's so inconsiderate. And they really expand on that in this one. I wrote it down. You know, she's not telling him that she lost the job, but she's clearly upset about something. And she's saying, I don't feel good tonight. Like, I'm down, blah, blah, blah. And he just goes into, oh, I know exactly how you feel. You didn't even ask what's wrong. You didn't ask anything, and you just go into yourself about Spider-Man. You mentioned that you're a big Halloween item. What the hell is that? He said, like, he just talks about how popular he is, and he says, like, I guess I've become something of an icon, and I'm just like, dude, what? Who decided this was a good idea to write you like this? So unlikable.
They love me. They really love me.
Yeah.
Like, I like Peter a lot in the first two movies, and then as I was watching the third one, I was like, when did he become this like absolutely ridiculous? Like, when he kisses Gwen Stacy, I was like, what? Like,
And that's not even the symbiote.
Yeah, that doesn't make
That's
any
just,
sense.
It's
it doesn't
just
make
him.
any sense. Yes.
Yeah, and you
it's
can
just
show him like being cockier and being more self-assured, and then when the symbiote takes over, that amplifies the feelings. But yeah, him kissing Gwen Stacy there doesn't make any sense at that point in the movie.
It doesn't.
It makes sense if he's had the symbiote on for 20 minutes of the movie. It
Yes.
makes sense because he's a doucher. But he's just...
And he acts completely like he gives his what do you mean when she says the kiss, and she's like who is kissing her, Spider-Man or Peter? And he says, what do you mean? And he just doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, I don't know, what did I do wrong? I have no words sometimes for Peter in this movie. It makes no fucking sense how he's responding to anything.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you, Josh. It's like to the point where it's ridiculous. Like,
It just pisses
it's
you
just
off.
insane.
We're like
he pisses me off big time in this movie.
Yeah, and the only one of the few things why I watch this movie a lot. Let's be real. You all know this, and I watch it because it's so fucking hilarious, which everyone is on board with. And even though he pisses me off, I don't go in this movie trying to really like anything genuinely, except how much it makes me laugh unintentionally. There's like I said, there's some good potential in this movie, and a couple good scenes. Like, I do like the bell tower scene. We all know what the best scene is because it's the scene everybody talks about. When your first view of Sandman, that's a good scene. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a well-made scene. Doesn't really make sense with the locket. I'll come back to the locket a couple times in this movie. I don't know how that locket always manages to stay intact, or
even
just
when he Shawshanks out of the sewer.
Yeah.
He still
Yes.
got that pocket.
I have a question. So he gets wet, he dissolves, he's nothing. How does he get back into human form? Just because there's sand somewhere else? Because he's like melted in the water, he's like dispersed all throughout the water.
He had to have been that special, like, moon sand, remember from when we were kids where you put it in the water.
Yes.
And then you can take it out and it's still sand.
Yes. But
had to have been that.
But he completely, like, what was going on in the water when he went through that gate and he melted away? Were the particles, did the particles somehow come back together? Is it like, I don't understand how he...
Okay. I have an even more fundamental issue than that, Josh.
Please lay it on me.
What constitutes, like, chemically, what constitutes the difference between sand and, like, dirt and rock and, like, pebbles? Because why does he have to be sand specific? I know he's in the sand pit, but just chemically, because we see the really zoomed in, like, particles of sand when he's forming, and sand is small pebbles, right?
Yeah.
Why can't he be Pebble Man? Why can't he be Dirt Man? Like why does he have to be... Yeah, why can't he be Michael Chiklis? That's the part I don't understand, is why his powers are so specific to sand, because the difference between sand and dirt, for me, like, are almost non-existent. It's kind of just like a color.
Yeah,
like sand is just beach dirt. Right? Aren't they kind of the same thing?
Yeah. And
he, even when he's Big Sandman at the end, he has things of cinder block in him. So clearly he doesn't have to be 100% sand. It's weird. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And this is more probably like a comic book issue, like his creator, like his, because like the way that Stan Lee writes comic book characters, he was like, all right, let's put man after this noun. And that's how he created comic book characters. So I get Sandman being like, oh, he's a man made out of sand, but like when you break it down, it doesn't really like hold water almost.
Yeah, no, it's not consistent in its rules. But like you said with the pebbles, like I don't understand, because I mean, like here's the thing. I just
for our listeners, Josh just put up a picture of the Fantastic Four, the Thing, when he said, "Here's the thing."
It doesn't make sense. I don't get his rules. I don't get. That's simply it. I don't understand Sandman's rules in this movie, because it seems like sometimes he can get hurt, sometimes he can't.
And also the experiment just doesn't make sense, because like,
when you think
of the first movie, it shows it's the exposition board, but when he gets bit by the spider, it shows boom 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 every single power that Spider-Man's going to have, right?
Yeah.
And this one, it's like, what is this experiment they're doing in an empty pit of sand?
Yes.
And second of all, they're like, it's probably a bird, it'll fly away. It's like, aren't you doing something super serious? Shouldn't you just double check? There's no cameras pointing at this. What are you experimenting on?
The logistics of everyone's decisions are so questionable throughout this movie.
He ran from New York City to like the country, and then the cops from New York City are still chasing him into the pit. Like, where's this experiment taking place? They're chasing him on foot.
Yeah, I had so many questions about the experiment and what were they even doing?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I
tried to look up what was going on in that pit. I just remember something with radiation, and that's all I remember.
But there's nothing in the pit.
I know.
Yeah, it's just sand.
And what were those the lights? Like, what was that supposed to be doing?
I don't know.
Yeah. And how did the
first two movies
make it?
We understand, right? The first two movies we understand what's going on.
Yeah.
We understand Norman's trying to create a super soldier. Doc Ock's trying to create a renewable energy source. What? And that's the other thing, I kind of got derailed, but Sandman isn't trying to create anything. He's just on the run, and he just, like, his powers are just like, all right, he's Sandman now.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And
Josh has his face in his hands.
Because I have so many questions about so many different things in this movie, and I know we only have a limited amount of time. But I mean, his first...
Here's a question.
Yes, please.
Okay, to pivot a little bit, just from Sandman to Harry, when we were saying he loses his memory, and the doctor's like, oh, he has a lot of, he'll be having like some short-term memory loss. And then, like, in the next scene or a few scenes after, he's like, oh, I can't remember my father much. Like, I don't remember anything about my father.
Yeah, he forgot years of his life. Some short-term memory loss.
Like, his whole life with his dad. Like, what?
Yeah, I actually didn't even, like, think about that part. Is it short-term? They say short-term, but they say
short-term, yeah.
He doesn't even remember, like, the house. He doesn't know anything about his life.
It's so
like he remembers
Peter
and MJ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he remembers his best friends.
His best friends.
let that be known.
Is he
best friends?
Is he the worst in this movie in the whole trilogy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's not good in any of the movies.
No, this is his worst. And I feel like it's mostly because he's just written the worst, I think, in this. And it's so half it's not his fault, but he's not good.
You don't like the omelet scene?
God, I wrote that one down. Oh man,
it's way out of place.
Even
within the context of the rest of the movie going off the rails, even within it being off the rails within that context, that scene's still out of place. It's from like the rest of the madness.
None of it makes sense. Like the fact that you can cut out such a segment and have the same movie, that says a lot about your scene. Maybe you should just not put it the fuck in there. Mm-hmm. And
because 2 seconds later he kidnaps her.
Yeah, you could just lead with that. You can have him just in his place and have his little mental breakdown. It's not like she does anything to make him get to that point. None of that interaction makes sense for him to like have a breakdown.
Or you make her say something that triggers his memory, or do anything that triggers his memory.
Something, not a fucking kiss that is unwarranted.
She should have brought up his father and how like his father kind of like how his father felt about her, right? Because if we remember to the first one, Goblin's like, she's gonna use you or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And then she could be like, yeah, your dad kind of didn't like me. And then even that is thin, but it's more than we get.
It's something. What is the point of, because I was on the MJ train in this until she was this payback for the Gwen kiss.
I think so. I think the kiss is fine because it's payback.
I just thought about that now.
I don't know if it's payback, but in her mind, I think she feels she's justified to try it because he kissed someone else. I don't know if she's doing it specifically to hurt Peter. I think she is confused, but yeah.
I actually just thought about that. It is kind of like I actually don't feel bad about it that much anymore because he's a piece of shit. But the scene still sucks ass.
Yes.
It's cringy. I wrote down all of their interactions are so cringy, even at the parade, when it just
wish someone would bonk me on the head.
Yes, that it's so it just makes me like it makes my skin crawl because it looks so awkward. When she's like reading the play he wrote, it's just like it's too.
Yeah, she's reading Threat Level Midnight.
Yeah, man, it's like.
Okay, here's a question: why can't she was in an off-Broadway play in the last movie in a rendition of The Importance of Being Earnest, right? She books a lead in a Broadway play in this movie, right? A lead in a Broadway play. She can't get another legitimate acting job in all of New York City? Even something that doesn't have singing in it, because she was in a drama, like a regular drama, the movie before. So clearly that was enough for people for her to like get an acting gig. She was on a billboard in the city, and she has to be a singing waitress. Why can't she be an actress in something else, even like in a commercial or something?
Yeah. So I wrote down a couple notes about that. You just got a lead in a Broadway play. These people. Yes. They
Michelle,
audition.
You lived in New York. How hard is it to hustle an acting job?
So my thing is literally no one likes you.
Like Idina Menzel isn't like taking up like a singing waitress job if she gets fired from Wicked.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense why she even got the role. Like you haven't had one good critic, and do they really fire you after like a couple bad reviews? The people that you were good enough for them to hire you.
Yeah, if you can't sing, why did she get hired in the first place?
Yes. What did you see in her? And if you did see something in her, wouldn't you trust what you think and just maybe not fire her after one, or, well, he says all the critics, but it's still one show.
Michelle, there's only one person on Broadway who can get a leading role in a musical and not be able to sing, and we all know who it is.
Larry David.
No.
Oh.
I'm talking about real life, Michelle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Who is it?
A lead in a musical that can't sing?
Yes.
Is it on Broadway currently?
Yes, but they're not in it anymore.
I don't know.
It's Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh my God.
All she has to do is write her own musical and put herself in the lead. That's the Lin-Manuel Miranda way, baby. And no one can fire you from it because you created it.
Because it's yours.
Yeah. So here, that doesn't make any sense.
You know what's one of my favorite Harry parts besides when he says my best friends when he corrects the doctor.
When you say favorite, you're being sarcastic.
Yeah. Like I have a real
Okay.
I have a real problem with this part in the fight scene. So, like we said, Harry's not smart. So, first off, this is real Doc Ock like. He somehow manages to track Peter down on his scooter on this specific street. I don't know how he found him in New York, but he found him.
Well, he
nonetheless.
knows he's driving home from the play, so he maybe tracked him from the. Or wait, he doesn't know because he went to Aunt May's.
Yeah, he's coming home
in
from
between.
Aunt May's. Yeah,
so that doesn't make sense at
So-
all unless he was following him the whole time.
So he like picks his moment when he wants to like scoop him up, but Peter's spidey sense sucks sometimes. But okay, so they're fighting in the sky. The stupid ring floating in the sky. He gets attacked. Somehow he locates the ring again while it's still falling. I don't know how that makes any sense. Whatever. But
I agree.
But they're in the alleys, right? And he's swinging. And you had such a good moment to get the upper hand in this battle, I think. I mean, he has spidey sense, sure. But why do you have to say this when you're behind him? I'm still here, Peter. Why are you letting him know that you're still there? Why can't you just try your best to sneak up behind him? I love that part.
I do want to make a point before we talk about it, because you talked about his spider sense sucking. It does suck there. But I will not take any complaints about his spider sense sucking against Venom, because Venom doesn't set off his spider sense. That's like a thing in the comics.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Because he was attached to Peter, he can adapt. That's why Venom, like, it might seem convenient that Venom knows all this shit, like, because he does. He's like, I know about your daughter. I know that you want to kill Peter. But it's because the symbiote is telling Eddie all this shit. Like, that's why he captures MJ. Eddie and MJ have zero interaction.
Yeah.
But he captures it because it's implied that, it's not implied, but if you know the comics, you know that that the symbiote can tell Eddie things.
But how does the symbiote know everything about everything?
He knows everything that Peter knows.
Oh, okay.
Because they were linked.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Let me talk about the symbiote and Black Suit Spider-Man, my issues in this film. More of like not making any fucking sense.
Okay,
So-
but he does look badass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And his music sting is incredible.
His what?
That ba-da-da-da-da, his little music theme. I fucking love that.
Oh, it's fine.
I really like it. I think it's super iconic.
Yeah, never really did
Yeah,
much
the
for me.
scene where you first see him in the black suit, like against the building with like the city behind him and like underneath him. Ooh, love that.
My problem with the Black Suit Spider-Man, cool suit, whatever. It's not my gripe. My thing is the symbiote. First off, you took a week to, hang out in his apartment. You didn't do much. I don't know what you were waiting for, but first off, he's sleeping. Suit on, mask off. It attaches itself on his face. How does it get on his mask? I don't understand that.
Yeah, the suit part of it doesn't make sense because did he take over a suit? Because when he takes it off,
Yes.
it's all symbiote.
Yes.
So did it replicate a black suit? And then the suit's in the box, and he has a red suit hanging up.
Yes. So
So does he have two suits? Does he have a suit that Venom took over?
So my biggest problem is that when he has the black suit Spider-Man, he takes the mask off, no problem. He takes it off multiple times. So why can't he just take it off like he normally does in the Bell Tower?
Oh, because it's a bad movie.
Ah, yes, you got me.
I was also so confused about that. I
makes
wrote
no
that too,
sense.
Josh. I was like,
Yeah.
where did the like when he takes it out of the box, there's like a whole new black suit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
is that Venom? Like, what is that?
Which, it's not even the fact that it attached itself to his face, which is what it did to Eddie, and he just kind of like morphed himself on a suit for Eddie. But no one knows.
He morphed himself into a suit for Eddie because, again, it's a Venom thing. It's a symbiote thing. That's why that's why he has spider. That's why Eddie Brock Venom has spider powers, because it like takes in your information. Right. So that's why he has like the Spider-Man logo, like the distorted Spider-Man logo is the Venom logo.
Okay.
And that's why he has spider powers. But yeah, the rest of the suit itself doesn't make sense. One good thing I do like in that scene though is we were just talking about why his spider sense doesn't work against Venom, right? But if you're watching when the symbiote is crawling over to him, Peter's does pop up for a second, like as it's crawling over to him, because his spidey sense is going off because it hasn't morphed with him yet. And then afterwards, the spidey sense doesn't work on it anymore. That's just a cool little nerdy like comic book detail. But yeah, the whole to your point, Josh, it doesn't. It's bad.
Yeah, I guess there's no point in trying to make sense. It's just incorrect. But
Yeah.
what I want to know what they're thinking when he just casually takes the mask off. I don't know.
Oh, I can tell you what they're thinking. They're thinking, fuck it, we got paid, just put something on the screen.
Yeah, because it definitely attached itself to the costume. It wasn't attached to him. So, yeah, I don't know. That's another thing that bugs the hell out of me.
Michelle, you want to jump in here a little bit? You're not a...
I was gonna complain about how Venom like also like swings on spider like webs, but now that you explain that, I understand.
And that's why it doesn't make sense in the Tom Hardy Venom why he can do it, because he hasn't been with Spider-Man yet. But whatever.
Oh, okay. I also love. I don't actually love this, but it's hilarious. I laughed out loud when he first puts the black suit on and he goes, "This is something else." It's like just that's such a great line. It's so funny in the way he says it. It's hysterical.
So I like the concept of Spider-Man being angry and going after the guy who killed his uncle. The problem being we saw that in the first movie already.
Yeah.
And then they just retcon it. It's like, actually, no, he killed him.
I
Yes!
hate the rewriting.
It's dumb. It's really
Yeah.
bad.
I hated that.
It's you could trim such a good chunk of this movie off if you just stopped writing in things that don't need to be in there. It's and it doesn't make sense that the police would withhold that information for years. Why are you just telling him now? What's prompting you to tell him now?
Yeah, why are you making it like a passive like retcon that happened before? Why don't you have Sandman do something that actually emotionally impacts Peter now? And that's why he has motivation to like really be brutal with him. Like
I love when Peter is like upset and he's saying, "Why weren't we told about this?" And he's like asking him questions. And the captain just goes, "Settle down." That's it. That is it.
Fuck off, Captain Stacy.
That is it. But
I have a question for you. Both of you. Which is worse? The Peter walking down the street scene when he's pointing at everyone and he's new, confident Peter. Okay? So that whole sequence, that whole montage. Or the jazz club scene.
I know it.
Which one
I
is
knew there was
worse?
gonna be so
Because I have a definitive answer.
when I remember the scene where he's walking down the street, because I feel like, I don't know, I see it online sometimes and it's just like everyone likes to recall that scene. I didn't remember the jazz scene until rewatching it, and I think that one is worse. I think it's worse. I don't know.
I think I dislike the walking more.
I disagree.
Yeah,
I also disagree, Josh. The jazz scene's one of the worst fucking scenes in any comic book movie I've ever seen. it's that is the most embarrassing thing I think I've seen in any of these movies.
they're both.
Yeah,
it's both so close. I mean, it's like asking.
Now take on this.
I was like just shocked the whole time I was watching it. I was like, was he playing piano? Like, what's going on?
And you know I love my Raimi zoom-ins, but the zoom-in when he takes the jacket off and it zooms in on him and it zooms in on her, and then there's just wind in her hair.
So insane.
I will say this. That definitely is a lot more cringy though. Like every moment in that, I laugh more. I at least laugh more at him walking down the street.
Because I think the walking down the street part, and I'm including all of it, like when he's talking with Connors on the phone and when he's like in the office. Like I include all of that in that montage. I think there are supposed to be moments there that are funny. I don't think any of the moments in the jazz club scene are supposed to be funny.
You guys might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole scene. I was just like, what's going on?
Here's the part I really don't understand about his cool Peter montage, his Bully Maguire montage. Some women are so attracted to him, and then other women are physically repulsed.
Yeah.
Because when I see someone on the street that I don't think is attractive, I don't physically react like I'm repulsed. I don't think most people do. I can't speak to everyone, but I don't think women walk down the street and see a guy and are like, oh my God, look at I'm so repulsed by you. The fact that they react to it in the polar opposite direction as other women is insane. What is happening?
Yeah, it makes no, like Elizabeth Banks wants to bang the hell out of him.
Okay, well they had a nice little chemistry beforehand, but she wants to fuck him so bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
it makes sense with the landlord's daughter. I can't remember her name.
Ursula.
Ursula.
She's the sweetest.
But she kind of crushes on Pete in the second one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
but she also wants him and Mary Jane to like reconnect. So it's like weird.
She's weird. She's a weird character because it always feels like she's gonna like make a move on him, and then it's also I'm really happy for you and Mary Jane. Yeah. She's simping for him, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what the jazz scene is, for like as cringy as it is and awful, and probably the worst thing about the movie. Afterwards, I mean, none of it is good. When he has that interaction with MJ, it's completely like changed. The tone has changed to like ridiculous to actually like, okay, hold on. I like not that it's good in any way, but it's not all ridiculous in that scene. And you have that nice lead into when he actually like he feels terrible and he like leaves.
I thought you were gonna say when he feels his chest, because he does that a bunch.
He does do that, but like.
You're trash, Brock.
I do almost kind of. I'm okay with that, like ending to transition to, the top of the building.
I agree. I think the end of the scene is better.
Yes,
but everything that comes before is just the worst.
The thing with the streets though is just it's so. I know they're trying to piggyback off of the second one in a more ridiculous fashion with the song montage scene.
Yeah,
he's just like, it's all funny, but. He's just so infuriating also in that montage when he's like on the phone. It's so funny, but it's just like it makes me cringe every time, like all of it.
It's so funny though. Oh man.
I always love how the doors close behind him for the smallest bit and then boop, they're open again.
Yeah.
And he comes out.
Yeah, I definitely have the street scene is funny. Like, that's funny. I have a fun time watching that. The jazz scene, I was not laughing. Like, it's just so...
I laugh. Oh, I definitely laugh at that.
I laugh, too.
Yeah.
When he whispers to her and he's like, find me some shade. Thanks, hot legs. And then the woman gives the most disgusted look I've ever seen a human being make as she turns.
It's when he starts the song that I'm like...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, why is he playing piano?
When did he play piano? Like, yeah, it's so insane. I'm just like, I was just shocked the whole time I was watching it. I was like, what?
Did you forget about that, Michelle?
Yes. I was like, I didn't know that this happens.
Wow. if I remember correctly, even though I watched it a little bit ago, the end of that when he's outside, I think I like that track a good amount. I'm trying to remember how it actually.
I can't remember.
But
exactly.
it was like I like that more than the one you guys referenced. But I kind of forget how it went, to be honest. But
if we're talking about music, we got to talk about how it's wonderful.
Oh
So
my God.
wonderful.
I wrote notes about that, Colin.
Go for it, Michelle.
Let's
go.
hear
Dig. I fucking want to hear this.
The first, when that's like this opening song of like the film, I'm like, wow, what an on the nose thing to be doing. And then they do it again when she's singing as a waitress. She's like, I'm never gonna fall in love, or whatever the hell the song is she's singing. I'm like, really? Like really? I was just so annoyed that they just like had her singing a song about her life. I don't know. I
Josh,
hated it.
if you want to talk about people being completely oblivious to things, what is that waitstaff doing when Mary Jane storms out and Peter's like shocked looking? Why are you continuing to set up the champagne? Why are you playing the music? She obviously just stormed out.
you know how that makes that. You know what that makes me think and feel.
That character was supposed to be. Oh,
Yes.
I thought you were gonna say that
There it is.
that character is Mysterio and he's actively fucking with Peter Parker. Because he just constantly fucks with him throughout every scene he's in these 3 movies. Bruce Campbell just completely continues to fuck with him. And it's like, I know you're the same guy. Stop acting like you're not the same guy.
Did you guys know Eddie Brock actually had a superpower before the symbiote?
Ooh, can I guess what it is?
Sure. It's not Photoshop skills.
It's getting tall redheads to fall in love with him.
No. It's actually like I mean, it's a lame power, but it's a power.
He can show up wherever Spider-Man is.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But no.
Is it something to do with photography?
Nope. Well, actually,
He can
in a way,
get
yes,
taken
Michelle.
out in the second movie and then come back in this one because he's trash.
What do you need for Michelle? Stay on photography. What do you need for photography?
You need
Like-
a good eye.
Oh, that's
Film?
it. Nope, Michelle
Oh.
got it. You need a good eye.
How does he see that it's
Yep.
Peter in the church?
Yup, he has supervision.
It makes no sense.
I mean, how tall is that? How high?
Well, they show it doesn't matter how high it is, Josh. They show the
Yeah.
shot.
You
and
can't
you
even
can't see it.
You can't
And
even see
he's
that
like,
there's a
see
bell.
it.
He's like, Parker?
Yeah.
It's like, how can you see?
I can
He's
barely-
also standing way back too.
Yeah.
When they cut to him again,
Like if
Oh,
I
I thought he was just like he recognized his voice.
he's
I don't know.
screaming. How would he
I
know
know,
Peter
I don't
screams
know.
yeah,
though?
no,
That's the only way I
it's a
made
wild
logic of
assumption.
And if that was the case, he would have known he's Peter when he says, "See ya, chump."
it. You're right. See ya, chump.
See you, chump. What the hell?
I do.
Oh,
If we can we
okay.
just continue to talk about Elizabeth Banks for a second, because she gives the sassiest look I've ever seen anyone give when and Peter gives Robbie, he's like, check your sources, right? And then Betty looks at it and she gives Eddie this look like
I missed it.
It's the sassiest little shakes that you
It
can
is.
imagine.
I definitely missed it.
She should have been in these movies more. She has better chemistry with Toby than Kirsten Dunst does.
Maybe.
Just make her,
Yeah.
I don't know.
A little bit.
Oh, so that makes sense because I actually have a little note here. It's very little, but you answer my question, Colin.
Is it as little as Peter's little devilish smile throughout this movie?
No.
When he does his little smile by the paper.
Oh my god.
Oh God.
It's gross. He looks like a little goblin.
No, it was how did Eddie know about the tiger nickname? But that's because the symbiote knows.
He knows what Peter
Yeah.
knows. Yeah.
Oh, big thing. And I think we kind of said it earlier with like withholding information. What the fuck, Bernard? By the way, why is it Bernard and not Bernard?
Yes.
But what the fuck, man?
Bernard's the true villain of the
Yeah.
series. Don't you know this?
Oh my god. Yes.
How else did he really know is by his own hand? Like, I mean,
cleaned your father's wound.
yeah. First off, that tells you nothing, Bernard. Okay, but
The glider was his own.
Like, what the fuck was he gaining from just keeping that to himself? Like, why? Why?
what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
To quote Adam Sandler, that's something that could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
And in the beginning when he's trying to talk to Harry, dude, just get it out. One sentence will get you more.
Your dad killed himself, and then he leaves.
Yeah, like just say something. Stop saying "let me explain" and then just like waiting for him to respond. No, not unless you say something gripping.
Just speak. Yeah.
And why is he not telling MJ about this? Why is he like refusing to? Because she asks him about him and Harry.
Oh, I was gonna say Bernard. Bernard's too busy going to get food for them.
Colin, it's
Yeah.
Bernard, not
I'm sorry.
Bernard.
Bernard is too busy going to get food for Harry and MJ.
For
Could you get some food?
a guest.
For a guest, sir.
But yeah, well, she asks,
And then they make their own food. They make omelets.
Yeah.
themselves.
What?
he just got them the raw ingredients.
You know
Yeah.
that Bernard was not chopping up those peppers. His frail hands. Come on.
Oh man, why does Peter throw the basketball at Harry when he's not looking?
Because he's an asshole.
It looked like he was like curious to test his ability, because he like looked at him for a second and he was like,
Ooh,
let me give this a shot real quick. Let me toss
maybe.
this. It was
That
like,
would be, I think you're giving him too much credit. He's an idiot.
you're right.
That's a question I have though. Does Harry have powers?
Yeah. He gets out of
He
the goblin
does.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that okay.
Which apparently
you're
he's
right.
known that Peter's been Spider-Man for, months at this point, I'm assuming. But for some reason, tonight's the night.
Well, he's been developing the technology, Colin.
He hasn't been. He's a dumbass. We haven't even talked about, I think, the worst part of the movie.
Oh,
Aunt May's long-ass fucking story about them swimming. It's the
proposal?
worst.
You don't like
I
it?
hate it. We were very good swimmers. And she's pouring the shut up.
yeah.
Stop talking to me.
When she said we were very good swimmers, I was like, all right.
Okay.
Thanks.
I don't know. Cool.
And he was a knockout in his swimsuit. All right.
And I didn't look that bad either.
Yeah.
Weird thing to say to your nephew.
Don't want to hear about it.
And then we fucked like rabbits.
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew what that tiny little pocket was for until Peter put the ring in it.
Okay, that's not what it's for.
Wow.
Clearly,
You're absolutely
it's
right.
made for engagement rings.
If we want to get serious, I think it's made for pocket watches.
It is.
Yeah.
What?
But I still never seen anyone
Well,
use
it's
that
a pocket watch, Michelle. So it has to go in your pocket.
Yeah.
But regular pockets are
but-
like too big. So, because it's like pocket watches are kind of expensive. So you put them in the small one so it doesn't like move around a lot.
Yeah, but people don't use those anymore.
Well, no. But when they
So
first
why do they
developed
still
pink-
make them?
Why
With
do
the
they-
little pocket.
I kind of
Yeah.
like pocket watches. I might get one again.
They don't.
You should. You honestly should.
Michelle, we all carry little rectangular devices that tell time.
I like it
Why do people
for-
wear watches anymore?
Little chapstick. Put a little
Stylistic
chapstick
accessory.
In that little pocket.
Yeah, it's like a stylistic choice.
That's so interesting. The more you know.
No, we're not doing that segment. Michelle, you better stop or I'm going to put some dirt in your eye.
Good to know.
You're
I'm
trash,
gonna kick
Potter.
your little ass.
Oh yeah. By the way, fire this fucking Crane guy. Oh my god.
Oh god.
Also, did you know Gwen Stacy has the Spidey grip? How is she hanging on?
Listen, she gets hit by a fucking desk and she's fine. She walks that shit off.
She's not hanging on to anything. There's nothing she's gripping. She's just literally resting her arms on a slanted floor.
First off, strongest phone in the world.
Honestly.
Strongest phone cord in the world. Second of all, she can take a fucking desk to the face like no one else.
Everyone else was safe, but they were all in the same room.
I also love this big swinging bar that's coming towards them, and they're like, let's walk closer.
Yeah. What?
Oh man.
What is that doing in my shot?
And then it's in the shot.
Yeah, and then it's in the shot after that. There's nothing in the shop beforehand. Also, it's New York City. They're constantly doing construction.
They're by the way, Peter's a jealous bastard. He really tries to play it off like Harry doesn't have a nice ass house. Harry's like, cool pad, huh? It's all right, or it's okay.
Yeah, Peter, we've all seen the shithole you live in.
Fucking jealous.
We know you like it. I hate the way he holds the ring when he tries to propose to her on the thing. I hate the way he holds it. And I don't know how else you're supposed to hold a ring, because usually when you do like an engagement, it's in a box, right? He's daintily holding the ring though, and I hate it.
So, Colin, you kind of went on the bridge scene a little bit in like justifying Mary Jane, like or like kind of like this is coming from a place of truth, but
Right.
let's be real. She doesn't want this for Peter. Like, she still cares about him, loves him. So why doesn't she
tell Peter,
Just-
hey, Harry put me up to this. He's over there. Go kick his ass.
Yes, just be logical. Like,
Yeah.
don't
that's true.
don't be honorable here. Okay?
Yeah.
To Harry.
And also, does Harry also have like super hearing? Because I think he hears that whole conversation. So he's like, bravo. Afterwards.
Apparently he's a fucking magician. He could just disappear and. Like, what am I supposed to believe?
Josh, he's so good.
Yeah. He's so good. Wink.
So
But like,
good.
I like how you see.
That's the thing, Josh. I'm the other guy.
The way he says that.
My favorite part is after he disappears, you see the person look back like, what the fuck was that?
And he's like, why is this guy crouching underneath the table right now?
And it's like Peter really buys it that he disappeared, because he runs after him and sees him disappear. He's like, oh, what the hell? Where the hell did he go?
Okay, but Josh, we've established Peter's a dumbass.
Yes, I know. I don't know why I keep.
That's why Harry did it, because he's like, he's fucking dumb. If I just crouch down, he'll think I'm gone.
Oh man.
Also, Harry's plan is dumb. To lure Pete into his house and fight him. Why don't you just attack him when he's not suspecting it? Maybe because that didn't work last time, but
Yeah.
just fucking wait until he's home, toss a bomb in his apartment, and skateboard out of there.
Toss a bomb in there. Real quick.
Yeah, why you gotta lure him and shit?
Yeah. It's
Also, that fight scene, first of all, it's bad. Second of all, the music makes it even worse.
I don't even remember the music.
It's
me
like
neither.
that, like jazz, like boom, 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 and they're like fighting to this like weird,
What?
like plucky jazz, like stripped down jazz tune, and it's like, what? What is happening? Why is there so much jazz in this movie?
I'll have to rewatch that scene, I guess.
What?
I like when Harry turns into a vampire in that scene.
It's got the blood in his mouth. Yeah. Gonna kick your little ass.
I love the kick your little ass line.
Yeah, that's funny. Protected you in high school.
And then I love Peter's
Kick
reaction.
your
He just
little
goes,
ass. Ooh. Yeah.
stings, doesn't it?
Why did they have to do the hair? I don't get why they had to do it.
Because he's emo now.
Yeah.
I just don't. Like, I get Sam Raimi didn't like have all his heart into this, but you have to wonder if he was
That's
just
what
making this ironically.
That's what the Sony producer said about Sam Raimi. First, we attack his heart.
Oh my god.
I don't know, man. I really wonder if he made this intentionally bad.
I don't know, because again, I know you're probably going to think I'm crazy. I like a lot of the movie, like legitimately like a lot of the movie up until the point where he goes emo. And then it just goes completely off the rails. Like the rest of the movie doesn't make any sense after that point. Like none of it makes sense at all. Like there are moments beforehand that are weird and quirky that I can forgive because these movies are weird and quirky, but I can't forgive the second half of this movie. It's just like if we're looking at it critically.
I'm still kind of surprised that it's really just the second half that does that to you, because I still, even though it's much worse, it's really bad. But the first half isn't. I still don't think it's good. Like I don't think any.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
Please.
I like the first half of this movie more than I like the first half of the first Spider-Man movie.
Really?
Spider-Man 2002. Because I'm thinking that I'm like, oh my god, this is kind of better than the first Spider-Man as I'm watching it. Like this is better, and then the moment happens.
I can't get behind that.
Me neither.
Listen, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm telling you though, this movie was in high 60s range before.
High 60s.
He does. I would say 67, 68 range. And then the
I'm
rest
just
of the movie
surprised
happens.
because, like, none of the. I mean, I don't really see much good about this just because it's not as bad as the second half, and you can still kind of like make sense of it. There's still a lot of decisions and methods they do that just like.
I like that he has a rival in Eddie, and I think that Topher nails that part of it well. I like that he's a little big for his britches, and he's a douchebag, and Mary Jane is justified in her feelings towards him. I don't like any of the James Franco stuff. That's where you lose that's where all those points lose. But like, there's like, I don't know.
I don't even like the Sandman stuff, Colin. It's so.
I think it's fine.
I just don't know what they want to do. I don't know what they want me to feel. I don't know what they're trying to tell me. They're giving me they're giving me the laziest storyline for this guy to make me feel sympathy for him, and it's not working. Your first scene of him is.
Oh, I'm not saying it's great. I just think it's like, okay, this is a comic book movie. I don't need like every character to have the most like thought out backstory. What was Norman Osborn's motivation? He wanted to help his company more. Okay. Like, I don't need all of that motivation.
At least you get the stages of development. Why does
Otto want to do, why does Otto want to make, a renewable source? Because he's a good scientist guy. Okay. I can find that motivation. But I think the real problem is I do like some of the things that they set up in the first half, and then they go nowhere with them. And that's my biggest gripe is it just goes off the rails. Like, we could have had a really good Black Suit Spider-Man story for like almost this whole movie. And
yeah, absolutely.
And then Venom's in it. And then Sandman's like, I'll team up with you for some reason. This man I never met.
I still think the first half they still introduce too much, even though they handle.
Oh, sure.
They handle it so poorly in the second half. They still oversaturate this with unnecessary filler over and over. And guys, I mean we all know this. It's this isn't good, but like the pacing is so off. Everything is like proportioned so weirdly. I mean, Sandman, I guess this is more the second half. He disappears for a half hour, and it's like they bring him back like they forgot about him, just like going into other little subplots.
Harry disappears too.
Yeah, but even the first
Aunt May
half
disappears.
What even happens with Aunt May?
I'll tell you every single thing that happens. She gives Peter the ring after the boring dumbass story. She is at the police department with Peter when they talk about Flint Marco being the actual killer. Then she shows up at Peter's apartment, and then she's at Harry's funeral. That's everything.
Yeah, so it's after he gives the ring back, and then she's just at the end. Okay.
Yeah. Bad movie though. Overall, bad movie.
Yeah.
I do like Stan Lee's cameo. If we're looking for positive things, I like Stan Lee's cameo when he's like, I guess one person can make a difference.
Yeah. And I even like some of the fight sequences. Like, I know they were still kind of like holding on to that train fight, with this.
I really like that fight.
Yeah, that's a good
underground
fight.
Train fight.
That's a pretty good fight. How do you guys feel about the effects?
I like when we see like Venom on his own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was cool. I thought that was still pretty cool.
I don't get why the third movie in we're still getting PS2 style rubber band man, like when they're fighting sometimes,
It looks
like, especially in the first fight at night. Mm-hmm. There's some really bad shit
with Harry and Peter, right?
Yes,
it's so bad.
And it's weird because like you can kind of see in the second one, like you can see when Doc Ock isn't a real man and when he is like a computer person.
Yeah.
But for some reason, there's just some really bad, like, I feel like they put so much of that budget into that Sandman,
Yeah.
When he first turns, they're like, with some other stuff. They cut some corners otherwise.
Yeah, when I watched that, like with friends, we paused so much of that scene just to see the different like CGI moments in them.
Yeah.
In the Harry Peter fight. It's so bad, but then sometimes the effects are really good. It's funny though, because like universally, don't a lot of people say that this one has like the best effects?
Do they?
Do they?
Well,
Because it's wrong, because the second one.
Yeah, the second one does,
I think
but
mostly because of the Sandman.
I think it's the Sandman, and I think because you can't find much good in this movie, so they say, oh, the effects are good, but this is the only one that's not nominated for anything, not even effects or anything like that. I think.
I think Black Suit Spider-Man's a cool effect. I guess if you want, I mean, you guys like, or at least Michelle said she likes the Venom design. I don't really like the Venom design at all.
I'm fine with the design.
Because Venom's just like, he's a big muscle dude.
Yeah, I guess.
And it's just like this, he's just like a monster.
Yeah, I think I like maybe like the look of it more rather than like the size of them, because obviously the size is like puny. So that I'm not big on, but like the actual look of them, I'm fine with. But
Yeah.
How come Harry jumps in front of the glider and doesn't catch it?
no one will ever know.
No. Yeah.
He just is like, time to get stabbed.
Yeah. I think he was just kind of done with life, and he was just like, I'm going to go out big.
To wrap it up, though, I do want to say I kind of like that these three movies have been about Harry, Peter, and MJ and kind of their whole thing. I do like the moment after Harry dies, we get that nice shot of the sun, and it takes a moment for those three to kind of like, it kind of gives you a moment to like breathe, which, as you said, Josh, the pacing of this movie is all over the place. It's just like this. I do enjoy that they give you a moment to just be like, like this is a significant moment for this franchise.
Yeah.
And I like that this movie doesn't end on a Spider-Man swinging through the city segment. I kind of enjoy them dancing at the end. And I just want to point out, Endgame copied this movie, Endgame copied how they ended that movie with this one. Because Cap and Peggy are dancing at the end of Endgame. Spoilers. And MJ and Peter are dancing at the end of this one. So
who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Not me.
Yeah. No, there's a couple nice moments, even if they're like maybe a little cheesy, but I get what you mean. It's still like a nice like closure thing for might be a cheap way to get like an emotional scene, the shot of the sunset or the sunrise, I guess. But it's nice. Sure. Like I'll say it's nice. Whatever.
It is nice. All right. Do we have anything else we want to say?
Nah.
Or are we ready to get into scores?
Nah. Yeah.
All right. How do we want to do this? I have my score written down, but if you two would like to give it first, I don't know.
You go for it.
All right. I said before during the first half of this movie, I was like, you know what? High 60s. Okay. Digging it. And then the rest of the movie happens. I'm down to a 38.
Oh my God.
Colin.
What?
Colin.
What?
I had two numbers in my head.
Okay.
And I swear to you, at first, I was leaning at a 41, and then I was just getting more pissed off. So I settled on a 38.
Your score's a 38?
It is a 38 out of 95. Wow.
Yeah, mine's a 38 out of 94.
Ooh,
I had the same thought, Josh. I'm sorry to cut you off, Michelle. I'm watching it and I'm like, you know what? I was like, either a 39 feels right and a 41 feels right. So I'll just split the difference. Coming into it, I'm giving it a 40. More we've talked about it, it lost 2 points.
Yeah,
38.
Exactly. I didn't want to see it in the 40s because I was like, there's just too much bad.
Yeah.
I feel like 40s is still too high for this.
And here's when Michelle gives it a 53.
Okay, so before we talked about it, I was going to give this a 47. And then the more we talked about it, I was like, meh. So I lowered it to a 42.
Wow, this is nice. I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still had fun. Sort of.
I
mean, I did. I had fun.
I absolutely
it's a very fun movie to watch.
I love this film in every way. Hence why I've watched it, at least 96 times.
Gosh.
Okay. So I have the scores here. The final percentage for all three of the movies.
Ooh.
I think if we all guessed, we would know which one came in first, second, third. So we won't do that. I'm just going to read them off. Okay? So Spider-Man 1, between the three of us, got a 68.2%. Okay? Not a bad score. Spider-Man 2 got an 81.5%. Pretty damn good score. This movie we just reviewed, Spider-Man 3, got a 41.3%.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ouch.
Oh. And if any Spider-Man 3 apologists are listening, I just have to say that if you want forgiveness, get religion.
Oh wait, Colin, I thought you said you were going to do an overall score out of all three of the out of those overalls.
Why you think I should?
I'm kind of curious.
I'll do it.
Is this what the series would get? That's so heartbreaking. That you have two positive scores, so it's not gonna. Third one's not gonna bring it down that much, right? Will it?
I mean, it was like in the 40s, then in the 60s, then in the 80s.
I guess it's gonna just go at the 60s.
What do you say when you love someone? You say, "You're a good woman."
I'm good man. Give me rent.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door.
I never said it. I
is
know
good boy.
I never read it.
Go get me some more milk.
Go make me some.
Oh yeah.
Make me some cookies. You got nuts?
Got any nuts? Go make me some.
I
Got
hated
milk?
that whole scene.
Hate it so much.
Give me some milk. Okay, so the final Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy score, unless I fucked up the math, which is very possible. I may have Harry Osborn this shit. I got a 63.6%.
I was gonna guess 63. Not joking.
Yeah.
Not joking.
Damn.
Sweet.
Yeah, so there's that information.
Thanks a lot, SP3. Wait, SP.
Thanks a lot.
SP. SM.
SP.
I don't know what the hell I was doing. Spider.
Thanks.
3.
Any other final notes? Or are we all set?
I think we're all set.
Alrighty, guys. If you enjoyed our Spider-Man trilogy, please give us a lovely webbing of 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. We're just gonna have Colin do this tune for us. But you may find us anywhere podcasts are found: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Pandora. I am very, very thrown off. And you can always follow us on our Instagram page at Millennial Milkshake. We also have a Facebook page and Twitter, Milk-Based Pod. I would go to Instagram for the more fun stuff. We usually pay the most attention there. If you want to give us a follow on our personal social media, Colin is on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at The Last Call. Call spelled COL. Michelle is on Instagram at Michelle Thoughts. That's thoughts the way you think. And I am on Instagram at Joshi_124. Joshi spelled with an IE. And Colin, Michelle, thank you for swinging in the city with me. And Colin, thank you so much for this lovely tune you have sang over the plugs.
It's wonderful.
I've been through a lot of difficult moments in my life, but that was at the top for one of the hardest things I've had to do is give all these plugs over Colin's.
Great. That was perfect.
What's better
Josh.
is I can't sing at all. I have a terrible voice. I know I never read it.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Bum, 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 bum,
Ooh.
bum. With great power comes great responsibility. Is that in the Lights Out Broadway musical, Spider-Man musical?
Oh God.
Where 15 extras died or some shit?
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. And, best friends. Stay
webbed.
Stay webbed.
Stay
Yeah.
webby.
Yeah, stay webbed. Yeah. Who gives a shit? Obviously, Sam Raimi didn't give a fucking shit about this goddamn movie.
All right. Hopefully it makes a fourth. Goodbye, everyone.
Listen, fucking Multiverse of Madness good as well. He might make a fucking fourth. Not with James Franco.
Oh, God. Yeah.